What is franchise development and what are franchise development companies? If you're thinking about franchising your business, these are important topics, and we're going to discuss both. When it comes to the franchise industry and topics of franchising your business, you're going to hear the term franchise development companies, franchise developers, and even franchise consultants. And what is this all about? Well, let's start with franchise development. Franchise development is just that. It's a process for developing a franchise system. It's the process, the legal process, business planning process, strategic planning to take you from where you are today, successful business owner, maybe 1, 2, 3 or more locations, good brand, good unit economics, to take you from business owner to franchisor. Franchisor that has an issued franchise disclosure document and is legally able to offer and sell franchises to individuals that become your franchisees, that you train, that you support, and they open up their own locations under your brand. They expand the reach of your brand and your services and products. So franchise development, it's the process for franchising your business. Major milestones for franchising, well, we discussed them in detail in our video, 7 Steps to Franchising Your Business. What do they include? They include a franchise assessment, FDD preparation, operations manual development, registering your trademarks, forming your franchise company, registering and filing your FDD, and creating a franchise sales strategy and budget, a plan for next steps. FDD, it's your franchise disclosure document. It is the primary legal document that you need to become a franchisor. It's what's required to be disclosed to franchisee candidates before we can offer or sell a franchise. Operations manual development. Well, your operations manual, it's the how-to guide for your franchisees. It should be a living and breathing document that's going to evolve over time. Trademarks. Well, you're going to be granting franchisees a license to use your trademarks. So we need to know they're protected legally and registered with the United States Patent and Trademark Office. And as you become a franchisor, there's other steps. We're going to be forming your franchise company, which is going to be a new corporate entity that's going to offer and sell franchises. Legally, we're going to register or file your FDD with state regulators. So you're authorized to sell franchises in a particular state or all the states. And then most important, we're going to be focused on what does franchise success look like? What a good 5-year franchise growth strategy is all about. And franchise sales and franchise sales budgeting. And in this franchise development process, the first item that I mentioned, the franchise assessment, that's the most important because it's really determining whether or not franchising is good for you. And it's not just about whether or not your business is profitable or if you're in a great industry. It's also about your personal goals, the support you have or may not have, team goals, where you see yourself over the next 5 years. Do you want to go from business owner to running a franchise company? Initially, it's going to feel like you're running your business and you start slowly onboarding franchisees. And then maybe you add more team members for franchisee support or franchise sales. And this could happen over time. But ultimately, becoming the leader of a franchise company that's selling franchises, supporting franchisees, and growing your brand across the country. So the franchise development process starts with assessing whether or not you should franchise your business through the legal and the strategic planning to get yourself ready to legally offer and sell franchises. And then most important, understand what comes next. So that's the franchise development process. What are franchise developers, franchise development companies? You're going to see it often. They're out there to sell you their service or their product is helping you franchise your business, not unlike what we do at our firm, right? We are a franchise law firm. We happen to do legal plus franchise development. We work with an amazing franchise development company. So franchise developers, they're individuals, they're professionals, they're teams that help you franchise your business. What are the major milestones or areas where a good franchise developer, and we're going to discuss this a little more. There's really great franchise developers, and then there's some that you really need to be cautious about. What are key milestones they can help you with? Well, franchise assessment, relying on their industry expertise to help you honestly determine whether or not you should franchise your business, what your expectations should be, what success can look like, and whether or not it's compatible with you at an individual level. And also whether or not your business is ready. I mean, we have so many conversations. The good ones are where we receive calls and have conversations of, hey, Charles, I'm not ready to franchise yet, but do you have advice you can share to help me be ready to franchise my business down the line? And I love those conversations. And we talk about unit economics and we talk about trademarks and a bunch of things. And we even have a video on that. So where franchise developers, franchise development companies should be adding significant value, and you need to discern whether or not they will. That honest franchise assessment. Next is preparing your operations manual. And I'm not talking about a generic operations manual, one that's really going to become a tool to help your franchisees develop, open, and manage their franchise locations. And one that's going to evolve over time, that you're going to keep improving. You're going to develop into videos, a living and breathing document. Next is franchise sales strategy. And if anyone out there tells you franchise sales are easy, they're lying to you, because they're not. You need to have a realistic plan and budget. You need to focus on the organic reach of your brand, something we discuss so often and work on with our clients. And then next is industry relationships. They need to be there to help introduce you to the franchise world. I was just speaking with a client this morning. He said to me, Charles, a lot of franchisors are now reaching out to him of how they did it. And one of the comments he made is, well, aligning with the right people in the industry, working with the right teams that are going to help you avoid mistakes, make smart decisions. So a good franchise developer, from a deliverable standpoint, they should be focused on franchise assessment, operations manual development, franchise sales strategy, industry relationships. And I'll add another one, which is financial review, right? Like reviewing your financials, taking a deep dive into your unit economics. What you'll learn as you go through the franchising process, a very big part of your franchise disclosure document and franchise sales process is going to involve communicating to your prospective franchisee candidates what your financial performance looks like. What are your gross sales, your gross profit margins? What's KPI data that we could really dive into and disclose in your FDD, something we're very focused on. And we need to balance legal with good franchise sales practices and strategies. So those are some of the deliverables you should be focused on, or that franchise developers should be delivering. So franchise development is the process of franchising a business. And it involves those cornerstone steps that we discussed, from assessment through FDD development, through registering your FDD, through sales strategy, expectations, and building a winning formula. So franchise development are legal and business planning steps and actions to take you from where you are today to becoming a franchisor. And franchise developers are teams or individuals that help you with that process. Two primary components: franchise developers and franchise lawyers. Franchise lawyers are critical to process, not because I'm a franchise lawyer. And in fact, we do a lot more for our clients. I've also been a franchisor. We work with hundreds of brands, very focused on the franchise development process, and very focused on the fact that after you become a franchisor, you're in this franchise world or jungle. And it's a great one with opportunity, but you need to have a good guide. And our team provides great support there. So how do you evaluate franchise developers? Well, just know there's no legal certification or process to call yourself a developer. Anyone really can, but the good ones, the ones that add value, well, they have experience in the franchise industry, decades of experience. They've worked with franchise brands. They've been involved with franchise sales. They're very active in the franchise community, and they've built teams and programs to help you on the steps and stages that I discussed. Where you need to be wary, and I discuss this often in videos. I have not clients, but individuals that come to me or call us and say, Charles, I don't think franchising works, or it's not working for me. I've been doing it for 2 years. I'm stuck. It's not working. I spent a lot of money. Well, a couple of things. I find many times I've worked with a franchise developer that's not genuine. And this is my opinion, but if anyone wants to challenge me on it, be glad to do it live on a live stream. Why? Well, some developers reach out to people and try to sell them and say, hey, you should franchise your business. Or some developers, when they receive a call, will tell everyone they should franchise their business. When they talk about franchise assessments, they're just talking about how good the business is and how easy it is to sell franchises, or that the developer can sell the franchises for them. Those aren't honest conversations. Just know, while there's some great franchise developers out there or development companies, one of which we work with and have for decades, there's others out there that their only goal is to sell you on the concept of franchising. And some will take the extra step, which I will say at a minimum is unethical and, in my opinion, illegal, where they make it sound too good to be true, where they sell you a package of everything. They're going to do your legal, they're going to do your FDD, your operations manual, your franchise sales, your budgeting, your sales materials, your website. Well, aside from the fact that they're not lawyers and it's illegal, or you shouldn't be relying on the franchise developers' lawyers, you need to have your franchise lawyers directly accountable to you and on your team. So aside from some of these developers packaging or selling a package of services that they shouldn't, you end up buying everything and getting nothing. You get a mediocre manual that doesn't move the needle and isn't really custom to you. You have FDD in a development process that's rushed and it's just cookie cutter. In some instances, you may have a non-lawyer preparing your legal documents, which is crazy, or a franchise developer telling you that their lawyer reviewed and approved it, or have you working with a lawyer that's really beholden to them. So you need to be careful. Always speak to good references and really look for a genuine and honest team, which is another point. There could be great franchise development companies out there, really great companies. And you'll see some of them, they'll show you badges and logos of brands like these large multi-million-dollar companies, 100, 200 unit franchise systems. That's great. But what does it mean if years ago they were involved in a company that has gone national? We represent many. Just be careful, because some franchise development companies will create metrics and comparisons to large national companies and use that as a guide for how they advise you on franchising your business. But the reality is, you're not a large national company. You don't want to follow the blueprint and plan that currently a 200 or 100 unit franchise system's following right now. You're a startup franchisor. You're what we call an emerging franchisor. We work with so many. We need a unique plan to you as a startup and an emerging franchisor to be asymmetrical, to not try to claim and mimic what the larger brands are doing, but to create a special opportunity where we could organically attract your first pioneering franchisees and build a winning franchise system. And you could watch our video about building a franchise success platform and what the real franchise goals are. So the takeaways here, we discussed, and you know what franchise development is and franchise development companies. But understand that you're on a journey when you franchise your business. The destination is not the process of franchising your business. It's not to become a franchisor and get your FDD and your operations manual. Just understand that that's the starting point. And the journey you should be focused on, sure, getting to the starting point and that development process and working with a great legal team and franchise development team, but also what success is going to look like over the next 5 years and what a realistic and achievable franchise growth strategy can look like. And if you have questions about that, contact our team and we'll have a candid conversation.